Well, it turns out my next guest was way ahead of the curve when he started pointing out how ridiculously expensive it is to eat fast food. In fact, his keen observation, though, didn't sit too well with the mainstream media at the time. So, well, he became a target. Remember this?
Admittedly, you want to know how bad inflation is? Yesterday, yes, I had a nice lunch at Taco Bell. Cost me about $28 at Taco Bell for lunch. People need to pay for those things, and they do that by getting jobs and getting in the economy and getting active and getting involved.
Wait a minute. You spent $28 at Taco Bell for just yourself?
For lunch, yeah. It's true.
Okay.
That's a lot of chalupas.
That dude said he ate $28 worth of Taco Bell. We ain't heard from him since. Somebody check on that man. Like you got what they call it? A wellness check? Yeah, do a wellness check. Like when you ain't heard from your loved one in a while, the police got to roll by. I bet the police go by the house right now.
So I got to admit, that was so funny. I was cracking up for days. But since then, there have been so many other postings that have gone viral, including the Big Mac meal. Remember that one, 18 bucks? And then about a week or so ago, this one, Five Guys. And listen, it wasn't even a lot. One bacon cheeseburger, one regular soda, and a little fry, folks. Not even a big fry, a little fry. $24. Joining me now, Kingsview Wealth Management Chief Investment Officer Scott Martin. Scott, you tweeted that out. You talked about that, rather, in October 2022. They laughed at you. They made fun of you. Now everyone's posting these things. You were so far ahead of the curve, you must feel vindicated.
I feel vindicated. I feel better, Charles, after I digested the food I had. And you're right. We were ahead of the score here as far as Fox Business is concerned about how we were telling the American people, telling Joe Biden, telling the administration, because they didn't know it at the time, inflation, especially on food, was out of control. And it's funny how nowadays, Charles, you can go almost anywhere and really have what I called a nice lunch at Taco Bell and spend $28, $35, $40 on lunch if you're not careful, because food prices are still out of control, and the key takeaway are not coming down either.
And that was crazy, man. On Grubhub, I use Grubhub, and just regular stuff costs so much money. But you mentioned the Biden administration, right? So on a more serious note, this $18 Big Mac finally woke everyone up, particularly the media. They tried to circle the wagons, and they've talked about conservative commentators have started to link Big Macs and Biden inflation or Bidenflation. Of course they have. I mean, talk about that, how policy, someone may say, well, how does that work? How does policy eventually affect the price of a cheeseburger?
Well, let's see. How about regulations on businesses? Oh, my goodness. A State of the Union operation last week, or State of the Union episode, or whatever you want to call that exposition. Taxes on businesses that are all going up, regulations, like I mentioned, too. And the fact that supply chains are constrained, international relations are not good. So all these things that are coming down the pike, or have come down the pike so far, are things that go into, yes, Mom and Dad, that expensive Big Mac that you pay for. And so the reality is the administration today talking about everything that they're going to do for the consumer, and everything they're going to do against American business is killing the consumer, killing the prices on the upside of, say, the Big Mac. I mean, I went to Waffle House on my way up here, Charles, from Florida in the last couple of days. $24 breakfast at my favorite Waffle House in the world in Georgia. I mean, it's out of control, and it's not going to get any better as long as this administration is in charge.
By the way, folks, there's going to be the next leg of this war on capitalism and America is on farmers. If you think your prices are expensive now, wait till they go to war with farmers. Let's switch gears, though. Let's talk about making some money, Scott. You've got some areas of interest. You like pharmaceuticals, industrials, consumer cyclicals, financials. So you're moving away from all the sexy stuff here. I just want to ask you we're doing a segment with Dr. Siegel later on pharmaceuticals, and I like that you mentioned that. But consumer cyclicals, why there? Is it part of this conversation we're having?
Yes, very unlikely for me to move away from the sexy stuff, Charles, but for you, I will do that. And consumer cyclicals and kind of the industrials, the financials, the cyclical stuff, just globally, has been kind of left behind. And there's been points. There's been times that things have come out and things have lifted those boats, but then they crash again, or at least they go down. And then, like you said, the sexy stuff, the tech, and all those things, consumer discretionary, have turned around as well, or turned back up. So in my mind, we have to look at valuations today. The market, just to me, is getting a little extended. It's getting a little euphoric. There's some great things out there, yes, in tech, but I think for ideas today, I like things like Caterpillar on the industrial side, and I still like the regional banks, my man. We've talked about these a lot. Fifth Third and some of those companies, and say that KBE, the regional bank index, Comerica is another one we've owned since the banking crisis of yesteryear, meaning last year. Those are areas, too, that I think you can find really good valuations here, reasonable prices, and good upside, and dividends, too, in those stocks, too, that are comparable to where the, say, 10-year Treasury note is.
Real quick then, when I hear someone say I like pharmaceuticals or I like the drug companies, essentially they say I like Eli Lilly or Novo. Are there other
Really?
areas that you like
Yes.
in this space? Other names?
There are, and it's gonna sound crazy. And this is one of these things, darkest pour dawn type of situation. But I like Merck, which is not as bad as the second one. So brace your ears, boys and girls. Bristol Myers, a company that pharmaceuticals are really starting to develop nice things here, just outside of Eli Lilly as a company. So looking at Merck and Bristol Myers on again a valuation basis, looking at cash flows, looking at balance sheets. Those are two companies that versus Eli Lilly, which we do own, and we've had Eli Lilly for some time for our clients. We still like some of those other names to kind of catch up to save some of the big guys in the industry.
All right. Ironically, they're a little controversial right now. They hadn't done much except they're like lumbering giants, but we'll see if they can pull it off. Scott, ahead of the curve again, so I won't ever doubt you. Thanks a lot, my man.
Please don't. See you, man.
All right.
Bye-bye.